Okay, so what do you think is the most important archaeological find ever? The Rosetta Stone? Maybe? King Tut's tomb? Well, what if I told you the answer might be hiding under a pretty normal-looking hill in Turkey? We're about to explore a discovery so ancient, so revolutionary, it literally forces us to rethink the very dawn of human civilization. So yeah, let's dig in.
Just look at that number. 11,600 years. That is the jaw-dropping age of a site called Göbekli Tepe. And a number that big doesn't just make it old. It completely flips the script on how we understand the ancient world.
To really put that into perspective for you, think about this. Göbekli Tepe was already ancient. We're talking over 6,000 years old before anyone even thought about starting to build Stonehenge. And the Great Pyramid of Giza? That's practically brand new by comparison. This place comes from a chapter of human history that, honestly, we barely knew existed.
So you gotta be asking, how did a place this mind-blowingly important stay hidden for so long? Well, the story of its discovery is almost as wild as the site itself, and it all starts with a huge, colossal misunderstanding.
See, way back in 1963, a team of surveyors checked out this hill. They saw some flint tools, sure, but they also saw the tops of these huge stone slabs just poking out of the ground. And their conclusion? They figured they were just gravestones, probably from some boring, much later Byzantine cemetery. So they made a note of it and just moved on. Can you believe that? The world's greatest Stone Age secret was just dismissed as another old graveyard.
All right, let's fast forward 30 years. It's 1994. A German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt is searching for a new project. He happens to read that old, forgotten report from '63, but for him, something just clicks. He'd been working at a site nearby and the description sounded way too familiar. So he rushes over to Göbekli Tepe, and the second he lays eyes on those so-called gravestones, he knew. He wasn't looking at a cemetery, he was looking at the tips of giant, prehistoric, T-shaped pillars. And in that one moment, he knew he'd just found his life's work.
So what exactly did Klaus Schmidt find? What was actually hiding under that hill all this time? Let's take a look inside the absolutely incredible structures that our ancient ancestors built.
First thing you need to know, Göbekli Tepe isn't a natural hill. It's what's known as a hoyuk, which is just a man-made mound. For thousands of years, people built things here, and when those structures were done, they were covered over and new stuff was built right on top. This entire hill is basically an archaeological layer cake, baked by human hands.
So what has the team uncovered so far? A series of absolutely stunning stone circles. Each one is a massive ring with two enormous pillars in the center, surrounded by slightly smaller ones. And these things are monumental. We're talking pillars weighing 20 tons, covered in these masterful carvings of animals. But here is the craziest part. Geo-radar scans suggest that what we see is only about 5% of the entire site. There could be 20 more of these giant circles still buried underground.
And now for the big reveal, the moment it all clicks. Those T-shaped pillars? They're not just pillars. If you look really close, you can see on some of them there are carvings of arms running down the sides, hands meeting at the front, even belts and loincloths. The T-shaped isn't an accident. It's a person, a stylized human figure. The top is the head, the long part is the body. These aren't just buildings, they're gatherings of giant stone people, all facing each other.
Which, of course, raises the ultimate question, who on earth could possibly have built something this complex, this artistic, so long ago?
All right, let's just get this out of the way. With any mystery this huge, some people are going to jump straight to one conclusion. It had to be aliens. But the real answer, honestly, is way more incredible. It wasn't aliens, it was us, our own ancestors. We should never, ever underestimate the genius of Stone Age humans.
And this right here is the single most important history-shattering fact about this place. The people who built Göbekli Tepe were hunter-gatherers. For decades, the rule in archaeology was first you get farming, then you get settled villages, then you get big monuments. Göbekli Tepe just blows that whole theory out of the water. It suggests that the drive to come together and build something sacred, that might have actually come before we even invented farming. Religion might have created civilization, not the other way around.
And we know for a fact that humans did this. Archaeologists have found the actual quarries where they cut these massive stones, just a short walk away. They've even found half-finished pillars, just abandoned mid-process, still stuck to the bedrock. They found the simple flint tools they used to chip away at the limestone, which is a pretty soft rock.
This was 100% a massive, coordinated human project, pulled off with Stone Age tech.
Okay, so we know who built it, and we have a pretty good idea of how. But the biggest question of all is still hanging in the air. Why? What was this place actually for? And this, my friends, is where the great debate really begins.
So let's run through the top 3 theories. Theory 1, which the original discoverer, Klaus Schmidt, believed, is that it was a temple, a cathedral on a hill. But others point out that the art is almost all animals, not gods or goddesses. So, okay, theory 2, maybe it was a village, a permanent settlement? Probably not. They found tons of animal bones, which tells us they were having massive feasts, but they haven't found a single cooking fire or trash pit. None of the day-to-day mess of people actually living somewhere.
Which brings us to the leading theory today. Göbekli Tepe was a grand meeting place. Think of it like a Stone Age convention center or a pilgrimage site. The discovery of smaller, similar sites in the area suggests this was the central hub. Different nomadic tribes from all over the region would travel here for special occasions, to feast together, to share ideas, to perform rituals, and to just be together. It was a place that built a community.
So, after thousands of years of use, the story of Göbekli Tepe takes one last, really bizarre turn. The people who built it, the people who used it, they buried it. On purpose. Sometime around 8000 BCE, after using this place for centuries, the people started to systematically and deliberately fill in their own magnificent stone circles. They packed them with rubble, dirt, and animal bones, burying their own creation under thousands of tons of debris. And then, they just walked away, leaving it to be forgotten until we stumbled upon it just a few decades ago. Why? We honestly have no idea.
So why does all this matter so much? Because Göbekli Tepe isn't just an old ruin. You could call it a 0 point for human culture. It represents the moment our ancestors took a huge leap forward together. The sheer effort it took to build this place might have been the very thing that pushed them to invent agriculture and settle down. You know, just to feed all the workers. This is the dawn of society as we know it, frozen in stone.
For over 30 years, Göbekli Tepe was written off as an uninteresting graveyard. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we go about our lives today, what other revolutionary secrets about who we are and where we come from are still lying dormant, just a few feet beneath our feet, waiting for the right person to finally see them for what they truly are.